रामाय नमः रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः. Yuddha Kand, chapter number 58, Death of Prahasta. Seeing Prahasta, the valiant hero, coming forth to fight, Rama turned with a smile to Vibhishana and said, "Lo, there comes towards us a Rakshasa with a huge body and countless forces behind him. Who is that hero?" And to him replied Vibhishana, "Lord, this is the commander of the forces of Ravana. He is known as Prahasta and is the leader of 1/3 of the troops in Lanka, strong, expert in weapons, undaunted in battle, and the hero of 100 fights." Then, roaring fearfully like the thunder in summer and followed by Rakshasas like mountains of collyrium, Prahasta came out to battle with bulk and shape that struck terror into the hearts of his foes. And his valor was equal to his strength. In the flush of their strength and anger, the monkeys roared aloud. The Rakshasas ran towards the monkeys, intent on killing them, brandishing weapons, tridents, spears, bars, bows, and other weapons of war. The monkey lords, armed with trees and fruit and flower and long and broad boulders, sprang at their foes. Both sides kept up an incessant shower of stones and arrows and fought dreadfully at close quarters. Countless monkey warriors met their death at the hands of the Rakshasas. Countless Rakshasa warriors were slain by the Vanaras. Some were pierced by tridents, some were sawn by wheels, some were cloven by axes, some fell down dead, some died of cloven hearts, some were strung on strings of arrows and perished. Some, cut by broadswords, writhed on the ground and passed away. Some had their sides ripped open by tridents and met their death. The monkeys, mad with fury, ground to dust crowds of Rakshasas with trees and mountain peaks. Struck with fists and palms, hard like adamant, the teeth broken and eyeballs forced out, the Rakshasas vomited blood. Some cried with agony, some roared like lions in joy. Thus there was one mighty deafening uproar. The heroes on both sides showed all their skill. Rolling their eyes fiercely without a touch of fear, they performed deeds of valor with relentless fury. Narantaka, Kumbhahanu, Mahanada, and Samunada, the ministers of Prahasta, sprang at the enemies on all sides and slew them. Thereat, Dvividha killed Narantaka with a mountain top. Durmukha killed Samunada with a huge tree. Jambavan smashed Mahanada with a huge block of stone, and Tara sent Kumbhahanu to his death with a blow of a lofty tree. Prahasta could not bear the sight, and he destroyed with his arrows the monkeys in crowds. The two armies joined hands and moved to and fro and staggered like a huge whirlpool in the ocean. There arose a frightful sound like waters being lashed by a storm. Prahasta, in his rage, kept up a ceaseless downpour of arrows and displayed his wonderful skill in fight. That field of battle was frightful to see, covered as it was with the mountainous heaps of Rakshasas and monkeys slain in fight. The ground was hid beneath a torrent of blood and looked like a large forest hid by palasa flowers in summer. That battleground was a large river. The two ridges of slain warriors were its banks. The broken weapons were the trees. Blood was the water that flowed in it. The Lord Yama that gathered to himself the lives of the combatants was the ocean. The flesh on either side of the heart was the mire. The protruding entrails were the moss. Severed heads and limbs were the fish. Hands, legs, and trunks were the green grass on the banks. Vultures and eagles were the swans and the water ducks. The fat was the foam. The cries of the wounded were the noise of falling waters. Cowards dare not cross it. A river bright with swans and waterfowls at the end of the rains, the monkeys and the Rakshasas leapt over it, waded through it and swam in it like mad elephants, entering a lovely lotus pool, troubling its waters and crossing it to the other bank, covered with lotus stalks. The warriors were bathed in blood and came out of the river red of hue. Nila, the commander of the monkey forces, beheld Prahasta destroying the monkey troops by the arrowy shower he kept up from his car. Like a fierce wind driving the cloud banks before it, Nila drove the Rakshasas in panic before him. But Prahasta guided his car, shining like the noonday sun, to where he was. Best of archers, he bent his bow, strung it, twanged it, and riddled Nila with countless arrows. They passed through his body and entered the earth, hissing like infuriated serpents. Pierced by arrows that burned like flames, Nila tore up a lofty tree and hit with it the Rakshasa rushing towards him. Prahasta roared in fury and kept up his arrowy downpour upon the monkey hero. Unable to stop it, Nila closed his eyes, stood there motionless like a huge ball suddenly caught in an autumnal shower. Then he plucked off a huge salt tree and struck down the swift horses yoked to the car of Prahasta, broke his bow, and roared in triumph. Prahasta, his horses dead and his bow broken, jumped on the ground and snatched a bar of iron. Both of them were commanders of troops, mighty in speed, implacable in hatred. And like elephants in rut, they bit and tore each other, their bodies drenched in blood. They were strong and agile like lions and tigers. Never till then had either known defeat. Famous warriors both who had never retraced a step in battle, each tried to defeat the other and win boundless fame. They were like the god Indra and the Asura Vritra. With all his strength, Prahasta struck Nila on the forehead with the iron bar. Nila, covered with blood, tore up a mighty tree and struck Prahasta with it on the chest. Prahasta made light of it and sprang upon the monkey hero with the huge bar in hand. Then Nila took a huge boulder and brought it down with force and speed upon Prahasta's head. It was smashed to pulp. Bereft of sense, he fell on the earth, lifeless and lustreless, like a large tree uprooted. And from his body and head there flowed torrents of blood like cataracts down a mountain slope. At the sight of their leader slain by Nila, the Rakshasa forces, till then undaunted, lost spirit and joy. They were dazed and could not stand. Mangalam Kushlendraya Mahaniya Gunabdiya Chakravarti Dhanurjaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam.